Hello everybody. This video is to clear up some miscommunication I've had with you guys while I've been gone with COVID. First off, everybody in my house has COVID. For the last, I don't know, 5, 6 days, I have been so miserably sick. Today's the first day that I'm holding solid food down. Um, Still have a little bit of cough, things like that. Just, it's been rough, especially with a 3-year-old, which is something I hadn't considered. Um, Anyways, enough about that. So, the things we were supposed to be doing is working on our background section and our bibliography. So, first off, let's talk about what we started last week, and then I'll explain how it was supposed to work forward for anybody who might have got lost. So, first, you were supposed to create a document last week that was your background research plan. In that, you give me the question for your science fair topic. It could be something like, are are more yellow oranges more flavorful, or are darker oranges more flavorful? Something like that. Lighter or darker oranges, something, right? Whatever you're researching, whatever you're trying to find out. Okay. Then you were supposed to find keywords from that overall research question. Okay. You should have gotten like 6 to 10 of them. Okay. Then you would plug those into the question words: what, where, when, how, if, etc., etc. Okay, and that document for helping you do that is from Science Buddies, and it is linked to our Edsby if you need to refresh on it. Okay, so you're supposed to turn that in last week. Now, my goal on Monday was to make you templates for the next steps going forward, but like I said, starting pretty much Saturday afternoon till this morning has been pretty much a blur. I will do that tonight before I go to bed. Um, Give me a second. Cough drop. That'll help. Anyways, the next thing you were supposed to do was start compiling research that you could then review. Now, I told everybody you're going to need 6 to 8 good research pieces in order to write your background research and information about your science fair topic in general. But I told you guys to try to find 10 that you could then review. What we're looking for when we review is we're asking ourselves things like, is this information really relevant? Does it help me explain why my topic's important? Does it help me explain my topic to maybe someone who's a layman who doesn't know the scientific terminology? Does it help explain how I'm doing my project? Things like that. Does it explain what's happened before? So you were finding the research on like Tuesday this week, most of you. Some of you are a day off because of the way our schedule runs. Then you are going to take that, review it for those things that I talked about. Like, is it on topic? Is it actually, useful to the readers and you to get information for it? You know, if your topic again is on the flavor of lighter dark oranges, and you find a really good research paper on the science of why oranges taste like they do, that might be really useful. But not necessarily, because your question is just which one tastes better. Is there a difference in why they, taste different? So if that paper just says all oranges taste like this because of this, but it doesn't differentiate light and dark oranges, that might not be as useful to your science project. Now, I'm leaving it in your hands to do the first revision and kind of look through that. Now, this requires that you guys actually read these resources that you're finding and understand the information. And if you don't, you got to dig deeper and look up the words that maybe you don't understand. You are building an understanding that needs to be strong enough that you can explain this topic to your science fair readers, right? To the people who look at your posters so they can go, okay, I get what he's doing now, or she's doing now, or they're doing now, however you want to, be identified. Um, Brain freeze, sorry. So you are supposed to review that and read it. So that should take you more than a day. Then, once you've read and figured out which sources of information you need the best, you are going to make a bibliography, which I'm pretty sure most of you already know how to do because you do it a lot in English. Now, in English, you guys use AMA, I believe. Generally in science we use APA, which is slightly different. I'm okay with whichever one you use. And you can use a bibliography generator if you want for it, because I'll be honest, it's not one of my strengths, and I won't be able to check other than running it through a computer anyways to check it for me. So feel free to go ahead and use the bibliography. But if it doesn't have enough data when you run it through the bibliography builder and it gives you a bunch of blank spots, that's probably not a good source, or at least not a good source of that source. Some papers are locked behind paywalls and things. Okay. And I can help you find that. If you really like that source, I can help you try to find it, or we can try to find ways to purchase that data, things like that. I would try to avoid, though, things you need to pay for because there's a lot of information on the internet. So you were supposed to turn in the research. Then you were supposed to do your research plan, sorry. Then you're supposed to do your research, turn that list in with just brief things explaining what each one is so that you know, not necessarily even so much that I know. Then you were supposed to review that by reading it all and understanding it. Then create your bibliography and turn that in as well. That was our progression for this week. And I'm really sorry that I was sick and that got mixed up. I will put up the. Sorry, one second. I will put up the examples, or maybe outlines if you want to call them that, on Edspeed tonight. Like I said, this video will also be attached to that, so hopefully it's easy to find. The whole point, folks, is when you write your background research, you are explaining these things to your reader. And this is why you need this information. Number one, why is your project important? Maybe it's only important to you, or maybe it's only important to a too small subset. That's okay. But you need to explain to them why this is important. For example, if you're trying to figure out what the best hydrating energy drink is, or best hydrating, like G Fuel, not G Fuel, like Gatorade or something like that, Powerade, right? You're trying to figure out which one of those actually hydrates you the best, right? Is that useful to everybody? Probably not. But athletes, most definitely. So you're explaining that, and you're explaining the science that makes it important. Number two, you're explaining the history of what we know about that topic, like how do we make energy drinks or hydration drinks? Sorry, energy drinks is the wrong term. Sports drinks. Okay. Then you're going to explain any studies that have been done on this topic before that you can find. Remember, one of your sources does have to be a scientific paper that you've read. And I can help you if you have trouble understanding it. But again, you need to find one that's similar to yours. Now, are you always going to be able to find a paper, a scientific study that's exactly what you want? No, unfortunately not. Not everybody's always done the same studies or similar studies. But you should be able to find one on a similar topic, or something where they've studied something similar in a different style. Maybe they've studied other forms of hydration, not sports drinks. I don't know. That's what the research is for. You guys need to find that so that you can explain that to your readers, because maybe you do your study and someone who's reading your study has read those other sources that existed before and they're contradictory to you. How do you compare that? Do you say, oh, we had different methodologies? Do we have different this? If you've done your research and found that, you can address it in your project. Otherwise, it can make you look bad. And this is all setting you guys up for when you start doing your IAs and things in science in high school. When you do the IB, we want you to be used to looking for these kind of things and how to write. Now, unfortunately, I'm not the best English teacher, but you guys have Miss Lindamore, who's pretty amazing at this kind of stuff. So with my showing you how to do the science and the research specifically for this topic, and her showing you all the English side, I'm really hoping you guys can put out some great products. All right, last thing. We talked about how you need to explain why it's important. We explain the information to like a layman, someone so they can understand it. We talked about previous studies. The last thing the background information needs to do is it just needs to bring your reader's knowledge level from here to here. That way, when you say things like, I did a double blind study, they know what that means. And if you don't, and you're doing something like that, you really need to figure it out. Now, I can help you with that, especially next week when I'm back, I hope. If I don't start testing clean for COVID soon, I might lose my mind, but I'm just glad that I'm no longer being physically ill. I just have a runny nose, a little bit of a cough, some fever, and I'm testing positive. As soon as all that goes away and I am safe to be around you folks, I will be back because I love teaching you guys. I love my job, and I really, really love seeing the ingenious things you guys come up with in my class. So, I hope this helps. I hope this clears up a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'll put more stuff in writing. I'll type it up for you so you have a hard copy to look at that'll help. And I'm also going to give you the next 3 weeks of what we're going to do when paced out for you. That way, on the off chance that somehow I get sick again, I get hit by a bus, whatever, you guys will know what the progression for your science fair project should be. Now, again, I've said this last week a lot. You should be working on it now, getting your data, doing your project, okay? Some of you had talked to me about things you need that you're waiting for. That's okay, but you should be actively trying to get those things and getting prepared. All right, I have talked a lot. I hope you guys have a great day. You can message me, but if I'm feeling sick again, which it kind of comes and goes, I might not see it right away, things like that. But I will try to be available for you guys all day tomorrow if you need me via Teams or email. Okay. I really appreciate how understanding you guys are and how hard you're working, even though I'm not there to give you as much help as I wanted to. All right. Thank you. Bye.